Your purpose comes from your pain. The thing that you struggle the most with as a human being is what you want to help other people through for the rest of your life. Something terrible happened to you. You know, at some point in our lives, something terrible happened to me, happened to you. Nobody gets through this life trauma-free. Something terrible happened to you. And that terrible thing will define you in one of two ways. Either that was negative and that story haunts you and holds you back and fills you with all these limited beliefs, or you recognize that thing that happened to you is the ultimate gift, in that your purpose now becomes to help other people not struggle the same way that you did. When you can transform that giant pain that you had, emotional pain, when you felt the most worthless as a human being, into something powerful and positive, because it's now not just about you anymore, it's about serving and helping others who are like you, that's when everything changes. My purpose is to help entrepreneurs believe in themselves more, because the worst day of my life, the worst moments in my life were when I was in my first business and I quit on my business partner. And I had no belief. I was down on myself. I felt worthless. I felt I was working every day and just nothing was working out. And what do I do? What do I do? And I quit on my business partner. I quit because it was just too much work, too much stress, too much negative thoughts, too much just lack of self-worth, not enough belief. And I woke up the next day and I went back to work because I did not want to live with the regret. And I actually had a voice of Oprah in my head telling me, just find a different way to stand. You know, if it's not working out, it's okay. Don't quit. Just find a different way to stand. And I eventually made it through. We built the company, sold it. I had other successes, but the thing that fills me up forever is helping other entrepreneurs who are trying to believe in themselves, because that's back to who I was. And I still make the content for 19-year-old Evan, because there are millions of people out there right now who currently are 19-year-old Evan. And so one of the most helpful things that you can do is try to figure out a couple things. One, what was that most painful moment? Like, how do we turn this into practical? A lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of you watching this channel, you are positive, you are energetic, you are enthusiastic, you are pouring into other people. You're probably the most optimistic person, most dream-filled person in your circle. And that's amazing. And that's a gift. And you should keep doing that. And you still have lots of moments where you don't believe in yourself, where you don't have the courage that you need, you don't have the boldness that you need. And we don't like looking backwards. You don't like looking to the painful moments. The entrepreneurs, ambitious, positive people, it's like, I don't want to think about all the negative things that happened to me. I want to go off and build this thing. I don't want to stay stuck in negativity. Is that you? Can you relate? But it's important to think about that most painful moment, not to sit there and live there and say, oh, woe is me, but to recognize that there are millions of people right now who currently are still struggling with that thing that you have overcome. Even if you're not done growing, learning, improving yet, that thing that you struggled with, that you're coming through, many millions of people right now, today, are struggling with that thing. And they need you. They need your hope. They need your voice. They need your message. They need your inspiration. You can reach those people in a way that Evan Carmichael can't, that Oprah Winfrey can't, that other people can't, because you experienced it. And I and Oprah haven't. So step number one is to think about, what is that most painful moment that you struggled through, that you wouldn't wish on anybody else? Step number two then becomes, well, how did you get out of it? You know, again, you're not done climbing, but you're way better off than you used to be. It's funny how we criticize ourselves for not being further ahead. Like, I should be up here. If I followed that idea, I'd be over here by now. All these other people are doing all these amazing things, and I'm still feeling like I'm stuck. Okay. But also look at how far you've come, right? You know, you want to keep climbing, growing, swimming, etc., but you've come a long way compared to who you used to be. And every now and then we need to pause, reflect, pat ourselves on the shoulder, say, you know what? I'm way further ahead than I used to be. Do you from 5 years ago or 10 years ago would look at the you today and say, holy cow, I can't believe you've done that, right? Evan from 10 years ago, who had, 1,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel would look to Evan now and say, oh my gosh, that's crazy. I can't believe you did that. Even though right now I'm thinking, I got to do more. I got to be better. Got to work harder. Got to go faster. Got to come with new ideas. I'm not pushing enough, right? If you look back, man, there's been some tremendous growth. You've grown a lot. And so how did you get out of the hole that you were in? How did you stop struggling as much? You probably tried a million different things, but there's 1 or 2 or 3 things that worked. That's teachable. That's teachable to other people. The thing that saved me was modeling success. I looked at Bill Gates' story and I modeled that for myself, and my software company then started to have success. So what have I taught for the past 20 plus years now is how can other people model success? So how did you get out of the hole that you were in? And then how can you then teach that to other people? Because they're struggling. Because all of the tests and tries and attempts and failures that you went through to find the 1, 2, 3 things that worked, you can now shortcut somebody else's path. This is what I think it means to max out your humanity. This is what I think it means to live in what Jonathan Fields calls maximum sustainable generosity. It's like, how can you keep giving in a sustainable way that fills you up, because you don't want to just do things for you. Humans are built to serve. It's wired inside you. You want to feel like you matter, like today matters, like the work you're going to do today is going to be meaningful to somebody. And the people you love helping the most are the ones who are currently struggling with the thing that you struggled with. So figure out what that thing is, that most painful moment in your life that you never want to go back to. And then how did you get out of the hole? Now that is teachable. And then step number 3 is having the courage to share your story. I get it. It's scary. It's difficult. It's hard to put yourself out there, to share what you went through, the struggles. You may be afraid of how you're going to be judged or seen. You know, today you were just a normal person, and now tomorrow you're going to put this out there. Now maybe you're scarred or you're tarnished. But it's important because by you staying silent, it perpetuates the silence. By you being afraid to share your story, everybody else who's struggling with the same thing that you're struggling with, they feel afraid too. They feel like they don't belong. They feel like they're weird and not accepted and not normal. By you putting out your story and what you went through and are still going through, it gives the permission to other people to feel like they have somewhere that they belong, that they are normal, that they're going to be okay too, that they're not alone. So you sharing your story, I used to really struggle with thinking, well, only egotistical maniacs share their story and talk about themselves, right? It's about serving. Well, hold on. By you sharing your story, it is actually serving. You're not sharing your story just to have the spotlight on you, just to say how amazing you are. You're sharing your story because you're hoping that other people can see themselves in you, because your purpose comes from your pain. You're trying to reach the people who currently are who you used to be. And in looking at you and hearing you and what you've come through and where you are now, that will serve as inspiration for them to keep going, or for them to even get started, or for them to not take their life today because they saw your video, or they read your book, or they saw the post you put on social media. Sharing your story is not about you. Sharing your story is about impacting others. And they can see themselves in you where they can't see themselves in Evan Carmichael or Oprah Winfrey or insert, whatever expert, guru, or entrepreneur. You have to figure out what that most painful moment in your life was. You have to understand how you got out of the hole, because it's teachable. And then you have to share your story and put the message out there, because your story will change somebody's life. Ultimately, your purpose comes from your pain. You want to serve, you want to help, you want to feel like today matters, you want to feel like when you show up to do the thing that you're going to do today, it's going to have an impact, maybe not on millions of people's lives, but on at least one person's life. If you felt like today you were going to touch in a deeply meaningful, profound way at least one person's life, you're going to show up totally differently than if you felt like today doesn't matter, that nobody cares, and just forget about the day. I love you. I want to see you win. Let's make it happen. If you want another Evan Rant video that just might give you the confidence you need, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Treat yourself like you matter. Talk to yourself like you would your best friends. Think about how you talk to other people. You know, think about if you're watching this video, if you're a fan of this channel, you are probably